We as a church began a year ago getting involved with See You at Home in Champaign-Urbana that provides an address for those of our friends that don't have an address. And we got involved with our One Winter's Night, and it's about like it is outside today on One Winter's Night. As I remember that, of course, I tried to burrow deeply inside my box and to avoid that. But in any case, we've got Rob Dalhaus with us today. He is, I believe, his title is Executive Director of See You at Home, and he's in charge of One Winter's Night, and he does a phenomenal job. He's a friend of our church. Rob, come on. You're going to speak to us for a little bit.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Good morning, everybody. How's it going out there?
Good morning.
Woo! Good morning. Hello, all of you out there in Facebook and YouTube land. Before I start, isn't it really cool when you get to start your morning and experience a moment straight out of the Bible? You know, Genesis 1:3, the Lord said, "Let there be light." For those of you on virtual, you probably missed it, that we had a little power outage going on, but it's a fun way to start the day, that's for sure. Also, before I get started, just a huge thank you, Pastor Dave and Susie, wherever you ran off to. Oh, there you are, right there. Hello. For setting this up for me to be able to come and share. Pastor, just continuing to pray for you and your family during this time. So thank you. Well, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Rob Dalhaus. I have the privilege of serving with See You at Home, but that is just a small part of me as a person. I feel it's important to kind of set the foundation of kind of who I am and what I'm all about. And so I'll start by saying that, back on November 4th, 2001, when I asked Christ to come into my life and become a Christian, I didn't know what to expect over the next 19 years. But I got to tell you that God has brought me on this absolutely incredible journey of growth, both spiritually, mentally, physically. And to say that it's been easy would be a lie. It's not always been easy. For those of us walking along a faith journey, we know that it's not always easy. But I got to tell you, standing here now, getting to do what I do, I know that all of those trials and tribulations have helped get me here, and have helped me grow and be able to share experiences with folks, and to be able to share with our community and abroad all the amazing things that God has done, not just for me, but for our community as a whole, for our friends on the street. And so that desire to grow closer to God, that's one of the things that continues to drive me forward, because I know that I get the chance to talk to a lot of folks and get to influence a lot of our friends on the street. So I want to set that as the foundation. The second thing is that I've got a beautiful wife of 9 years in July and 3 little kiddos. The last time I was here, it was only 2, but we had our third child on February 19th earlier this year, about a month before the whole pandemic started. So continue to pray for me, because we're now outnumbered at home. And finally, I get to, as I said, serve as Executive Director of See You at Home. And what See You at Home is we're a small 501c3 not-for-profit homelessness ministry based in Champaign, Illinois. We've been around for about 10 years. And I can share all of the different parts of the ministry, but there's a couple I want to focus in on today. I'll just mention that we have 4 transitional houses that we operate. We connect with local law enforcement and local hospitals to do street outreach to our friends on the street, making sure that they're safe and they know the resources that are available. We also transport folks to detox facilities, treatment facilities, or other shelters if the services aren't available in our town. We have a daytime drop-in center where our volunteers, our friends with an address, come and hang out and develop relationships with our friends without an address and start to build that trust and build relationships, and we see incredible success come from that. We do education and advocacy, which a big part of that is One Winter Night, which I'll talk about in just a second. We also, about two or so years ago, we started a work program for our friends on the street, because I fully believe that empowerment and dignity is absolutely critical when you're working with those in poverty and working with those in need. They need to have to get a job and to be empowered and to do, we offer them manual labor jobs and they get paid for those. So instead of just being out panhandling or doing illegal activities for money, they're working for it. And I'm really excited seeing that program grow. And also we operate a men's and women's emergency shelter. And that's one of the programs that I want to focus in on as I was thinking about what to share and what's going to hit home with everybody. And I think just doing kind of a short review of 2020 and our ministry is going to be really powerful. And so when we began 2020 and we had our one winter night event and we exceeded our goal by about $50,000, and we were feeling we were in really good shape. And then all of a sudden, this COVID thing happened. And it just knocked us all down for a little bit. And so interestingly, our plan for the emergency shelters this year, because we have not had a year-round emergency shelter in Champaign-Urbana for nearly 20 years, our goal was we were going to close the shelters in mid-April and then reopen them on November 1st of 2020 for year-round operation. We're going to take a little break. Historically, we've had winter shelters, but nothing during spring, summer, and fall. So we're going to take a little break, build up some sustainable funding, do some reconstruction in our building, and then reopen that service. And we quickly realized that as the pandemic started amping up, that we weren't going to be able to do that. We weren't going to be able to close and take that break. So we had a lot of prayerful conversations with our leadership team, with our board, with our staff, hearing the words from our friends. I will never forget, I was covering a shift one night at the shelter, and it was probably 11 or midnight. And this guy comes up to me that was staying in the shelter, and the stay-at-home order had just come out. He walks up to me, and he's got this anxious look on his face, and he's like, Rob, I don't have a place to go. How am I supposed to shelter in place? I don't have a place to shelter. Am I going to get arrested for being out on the street? Am I going to be picked up for being on the sidewalk and walking around? The libraries are closed. The businesses are closed. What am I going to do? And that's one of those moments I'll never forget, because it's like, we have to do more. We have to do more. And so we did. And in the next few weeks, we started expanding our drop-in center hours. We were open nights and weekends, evenings during the day. We were open crazy amounts of hours during the week at our drop-in center. And we also kept the shelters open through mid-April and through May. And then finally in mid-June, we made the decision, and we went public with the idea to keep the shelters open year-round. And for the first time in nearly 20 years in our community, there is now a place where the most vulnerable men and women can go and have a safe, warm, and dry place to stay. And that is something that, divine intervention doesn't even begin to describe it. But that's something that we felt was needed. We had to do it. It was the right thing to do. And it stretched our budget. Increasing that service increased our annual budget by about $300,000 a year, but I'm here to tell you that we have seen incredible blessings in the forms of physical donations, tangible goods, snacks, financial donations. It has been absolutely incredible to watch God's people move and help us stand in the gap and to continue to provide those vital resources. Would you believe that in the last year, there's been over 630 different men and over 130 different women come through the doors of that shelter. Over 20,000 nights of care have been provided in a year. That's 20,000 opportunities that somebody was inside when they could have been outside. And so all throughout this, I want to have this continued attitude of gratitude because of your support, because of your prayers, because of you continuing to pour into us, we're able to do that. So let me say thank you for that. As we look ahead to 2021, we are going to be having our one winter night event coming up, actually 1 month from in a couple days, so 31, 32 days away. And this event is going to be really cool this year. As everything goes a little bit more virtual, we're going to continue to have boxes in downtown Champaign, as we have had in the past, but we're also going to be having some satellite locations, hint, hint, wink, wink, maybe here in the parking lot, hint, hint, wink, wink, as well. So we're really excited to hammer out the details on that and to have Trinity be one of our satellite locations. And then we'll also have some other areas in downtown Champaign. But One Winter Night is this powerful community awareness event that gives our participants a snapshot of what it would be like to live on the street. Is it going to be snowy? Is it going to be 10 below that night? Is it going to be sunny? I have no idea. We don't know. We picked that first Friday in February because we want our participants to feel what it's like. I've had so many people come up to me over the years and say, hey Rob, maybe you should switch it to like one summer night. I'm like, oh man, that's not that. you missed the point. Like, we can't do that. So this year on February 5th, we will have our participants out in downtown at our satellite location, sleeping outside in a cardboard box. And it's our major annual fundraiser as well. We bring in anywhere between 50 and 66% of our budget just from that one event. A budget that is funded by our community. We don't have any ongoing state or federal funds as part of our budget because we believe wholly that we need to be able to have flexibility to use those funds where they're needed most. There's not a lot of red tape that comes with the funds that we have. When we see somebody in need, we see a gap, and we're able to fill it. We saw that the shelters needed to stay open, and we filled it. And so that's why the churches, individuals, families, they're the lifeblood of what we do through financial support. Last thing I want to say again, it's interesting how God kind of works in these ways. And so I'm sitting over there and kind of processing through things, trying to my notes down, and the lights go out, right? And so I had this thought in this moment where it's like, as the lights come back on, it's almost a microcosm of what we get to see every day at CU at Home. We can provide shelter, we can provide a house, we can take somebody to treatment. But if we're not willing to sit across the table from someone and have a conversation with them that can change their heart, to share the love of Jesus, to share the love of Christ with them, to give them the opportunity to come into that relationship that will be with them for eternity, something that has eternal value. I said this before, if we're not willing and able to do that, we're selling our friends short. But we are willing and able to do that. And to be able to sit across the table from somebody, to share with them about faith, to share with them about a relationship with Christ, and to see that spiritual light go on, so to speak. How excited were we all when the lights came back on? Pretty excited, right? I mean, it's a pretty cool thing, it was dark, now it's light. We get to see that every single day. And time after time, interaction after interaction, conversation after conversation, we get to build that, and watch that relationship grow, and then finally one day the light goes on. I'm here to tell you, when people ask me, like, Rob, I don't know how you do this, how you see so much pain and heartache. Do it because those moments are worth it all. All the failures that lead up to that, it's all worth it in those moments. So again, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to share today. I thank you for your prayers, for your continued financial support, because without your prayers, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And so as we look forward to 2021, I cannot wait to see what God's going to do. I think it's going to be something amazing. But I fully believe that no matter what, God's going to give us what we need when we need it. He's done that for CU at Home for us for the last year. I'm going to continue to hold on to that. So thank you again for the opportunity. I look forward to a great message today.